Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. If you'd like to combine something you enjoy and also at the same time raise money to help a good cause, then this is the show for you. Welcome to Wesley Impact. This is the final episode in a series of 5 looking at a cross-section of Wesley Mission's work. Over the past 5 weeks, we've looked at work through the eyes of our staff, volunteers and clients. And today I'd like to invite you to consider how Wesley Mission can help you to do something new and at the same time help us to help people we seek to serve in our city and beyond. Speaking with Paul Mendham, a colleague at Wesley Mission, about various events and ways in which we can gain the support of our community members is on our agenda. We'll see how a long-time Wesley Mission volunteer and Paralympian Jason Hooper took to the pool to become an everyday hero. Tilani Sen will join us to sing Deeply in Love. And I'll be speaking on some of the final words in Matthew's Sermon on the Mount. At Wesley Mission, we don't hide from the fact that we need your support to help us do all the good we can and make a real contribution. We work hard to use all that we have in our hand to reach as many people as possible. But in looking at how we ask people to support us, we're always seeking new opportunities that help build community and self-esteem, and also promote connection with other people. One such initiative we run is Everyday Hero, where members of the public can set themselves a challenge, log on to Wesley Mission website and gain sponsorship for completing the change. Now the challenge can be as simple as putting on a morning tea, your work, completing a reading challenge, knitting jumpers, or whatever you might enjoy. Jason Hooper has been a supporter and volunteer at Wesley Mission over many, many years, especially in our head office. He's also a medal-winning Paralympian swimmer, and he recently became an everyday hero by taking to the pool to complete a 7-hour swim to raise funds to support our work. So here is Jason's story.
My name's Jason Hooper. I'm a disabled swimmer. I'm going to do a 7-hour swim-a-thon for Wesley Mission to help the needy. I was a disabled athlete, and from 1990 to 99, my feet gave up at the end of 99. So I took up disabled swimming from 2000 to present. This is my 25th year as a disabled athlete. 100 gold medals, 46 silver, 4 bronze. I was in Sydney on New Year's Day and I saw all these homeless people and I thought, I've got to do something to help. So here we are, we're going to do it today. It's going to be very satisfying after I knock this 7-hour swim over, because I know I've done my little part to help the needy. So it's going to be great. I know it's going to be hard, I know it's going to be tiring, but this is only for one day. Homeless people have got to do with it every day of the year. And deep down, I will struggle a bit, but in the back of my mind, I'll think, shut up, bullfed, do the swim. You've got a nice, warm, comfy bed to sleep in. No gutters, no idiots picking on you because you're homeless. It's all good. I normally wear hip to knee swimmers, but today it's all about comfort. So I'll just wear the budgie smugglers. Feeling good, pumped up. Water's wet. Bit cold. Don't die icebergs, here I come. I was born with a birth defect called Apert syndrome. It affects hands and feet. There is one thing I'm pretty dirty on, I've never had a go at trying. when I was a kid, I always wanted to wear thongs. Growing up with a disability is easy. With the disability, you get to cope, you get to manage, you learn how to do stuff. Being able-bodied and becoming disabled, it's just too hard to imagine. To me, it's not about disability, it's about having a go. I've had about 1,000,001 nicknames, and I was looking for a new one. I was talking to a mate over coffee. I said, what nickname do you think I should have? He said, determination. I said, just determination? He said, okay, Mr. Determination, because you've got more determination to get up and go than anybody I know, so it'll suit you. I'm actually thinking about going to a nail place and getting them trimmed up. So I said, how much do you get for a discount? I've only got a couple. This is actually a bonus. I've got a swim meet next month. Disabled at white. This is going to get me nice and fit. Anyway, we'll go back to it.
If you would like to see more of the work of Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can watch loads more videos, catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact TV, find out about our diverse range of services, and get involved to help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and stay up to date on the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
So that 7-hour swim by Jason was a wonderful effort, and I'm sure I'd like to thank, on behalf of Wesley Mission, Jason for taking the challenge in helping to support our work. To tell us a little bit more about Everyday Hero is the Business Development Manager at Wesley Mission, Paul Mendham. Paul, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Keith.
Now, you have some history working in marketing and business development. Where was that?
So I started in London, worked there for 5 years, and kept looking across at Australia and thinking that would be a good place to work. So came across for a couple of years in '95 and still here now.
Yeah, great. That's how it is for many people, I'm sure. So how did you come to work at Wesley Mission then?
A number of circumstances, obviously working in marketing and advertising for 20 plus years. I probably wasn't comfortable with advertising all of the products I'd necessarily worked on, and the opportunity came to come into Wesley Mission to have a chat, have a coffee, and a few days later I was having an interview for a role that was available, and I felt God moving me in that way to come on board there.
So now your portfolio is business development. What does that really mean in practical terms?
Well, it's trying to drive support in various ways for Wesley Mission's work. So that would include fundraising, also volunteering and community engagement to that extent, deferred giving, so helping people make a bequest in their will.
So Everyday Hero, tell us a bit about what it's about.
We've just revamped our presence on Everyday Hero. It's an opportunity for the public to do things that they can do, potentially to challenge themselves. The challenge doesn't have to be as big as Mr. Determination, Jason's 7-hour swim. It could be as simple as, for example, giving up takeaway food for a week and using that money to pay in, or to do a sporting event, go for a run, do the City to Surf and get sponsored for that, and raise money through the platform. And then it's very easy to upload your photo, a story of what you're doing, send it around to your friends, and people can raise money, and it all comes through to us to help in our work.
And the concept, as I understand it, Everyday Hero on the net is that everybody can become one, isn't it? It's not especially for somebody who is an international runner or a particularly skilled. We saw Jason's story of swimming for 7 hours. I wonder if many people would think that they could do that. I wonder what are some other things that people are thinking of doing or doing.
Well, we've had some great ideas Someone I've spoken to is planning to blindfold themselves. They believe that people can be blind to people's needs, and get someone to video her heading into work in town from where she lives, and see the people hopefully help her on the way, or how she would cope otherwise. I mean, giving up things and using that money is another way of doing things. Sporting events, as I've said, but it could be anything. Some people set up, someone else is setting up a photography site and writing pen portraits of people on there, and gets funding to keep that going from the people who are interested in those stories.
So how do people who want to do this, how do they go about it?
Well, they can come on to our website, or they can go straight to Everyday Hero. It's always easy through Google, but wesleymission.org.au would direct people through, and then they can raise money that way.
And we're looking all the time for people to do new imaginative things to be able to raise money, but most of all because it is to help people who really need the help, isn't it?
Absolutely. All the money goes to the services that wouldn't otherwise be funded, be they Wesley Homeless Services, Wesley Disability Services. It's for services that we deliver to people in need that don't have funding through other mechanisms.
So just briefly, tell us a little bit how your own faith fits in with all of this.
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, our mission to continue the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed is getting the gospel out there. So Jesus' love is very obvious, obviously through his sacrifice, but also every part of his life that we read in the Gospels. And I think it's good to be able to show people that people can care for others, inspired by the Holy Spirit, and to do that. And to, when people do ask why you're doing this, because obviously we don't just help people of Christian faith, we help people of all faiths. People ask the question, why? And when you tell them the story of your faith, it's a wonderful way of reaching out and just piquing the interest in what we believe.
And Paul is very typical of many of the people that work for us at Wesley Mission, who are driven by a sense of belonging to Jesus. So Paul, thank you for sharing with us today a little bit about the work that you do. Please welcome now Telani Sen, who's going to sing a song that talks about God's love and our response, the words, deeply in love.
In my life, you've heard me say I love you. How do I show you it's true? In my heart, it longs for more of you. I've fallen deeply in love with you. You have stolen my heart. I'm captivated by you. Never
It's been 200 years since the first Methodists met in Australia. To celebrate 2 centuries of faith and pioneering care, CEO and presenter Rev Dr. Keith Garner takes us back to where it all began.
But we don't begin here at the heart of London. We begin in a town in the north of England.
In this fascinating narrative, Rev Garner chronicles the history of the life and times of the founder of Methodism, John Wesley. This fresh and thought-provoking documentary takes us on a journey throughout the United Kingdom, beginning in John Wesley's hometown of Epworth.
John Wesley was born here on the 17th of June, 1703.
This 1-hour DVD travels onto his education years and beginnings of social justice in Oxford, to his final years in London. For more information on John Wesley, the man and his mission, call 02 9263 5555 or email us at impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
Some of the closing words in the Sermon on the Mount are very familiar to people, and they've often been given the title, The Wise and Foolish Builders. In fact, this is the last story, it's the last parabolic saying, it's the last of those kind of things before that final verse at the end of the Sermon on the Mount. And we remind ourselves that Jesus knew a great deal about the building of houses, having been brought up in a carpenter's shop. So we take seriously any illustrations that he gives from that kind of world. Following the storms earlier this year that we had in various parts of Australia, many people were reminded of the importance of foundations. And still, a large number of houses, many that have been built here in Australia in the last 80, 90 years, many of those earlier houses don't have the kind of foundations that are required to maintain stability for a property. And we know that that's true. So how important are foundations? We listen to the words of the Bible in Matthew 7, 24 to 27. Let me read those words to you. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the wind blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. The reality is that that particular story is so powerful because it's a description of the need of proper foundations. It's no far-fetched illustration because it could well have happened in biblical times. The builder always had to think ahead. It's the builder's job to work to a spec, to a drawing that an architect has put together. And always that is about thinking ahead and being secure and making sure the house is sustainable. But well before the days of architects, builders had to take on both those roles. Foundations are hidden away. And I suppose if you were of the mind too, you could hide your lack of foundations, which would be exposed when the storms came along. It's a bit like pretending that you know all about a subject. You go and sit an examination at school or college and you believe that you know you'll have it all worked out. You only know a little bit on the top. But you know, when it comes down to it, you nearly need to know what's beneath, not just what's on the surface. And as he often does, Jesus uses the power of comparison. When the storm broke, it battered 2 houses equally powerfully. One had solid foundations because it was built on a rock, whereas the other was merely built on sand. These words could be said to do a number of things. I think, firstly, it reminds us that hidden foundations matter greatly. We need to make sure in our lives that we have proper foundations. Even if they are hidden away, those foundations may be about faith, hope, relationships, those things that keep us secure. And it's often in times of storm that we see the foundations of our lives and what they're really worth. It's when it comes along, the storm comes and beats. If there's foundations there, then we stand firm. If it's not, well, it's all too obvious from the words of Jesus what will happen. This isn't about hearing or praying, it's about doing. I have a colleague that talks about doington. being so much more important than talkington, doington, being the person who is active. And we've always held a word and deed emphasis at Wesley Mission. If we're really going to be people of faith, we need to make sure that we do the right things as well as a response to God. These thoughts could be understood as a gathering together of all that Jesus has been saying throughout the Sermon on the Mount. You see, I wonder what the foundations are like in your life. It's as if Jesus comes to the end of telling so many stories, pointing to so many practical things that have to happen in our lives, that when he comes to the end of all those things, he tells this story. And he gives these two alternatives. And he's been doing it all along, hasn't he? He's been talking about a narrow way and a broad way. And now he's talking about what kind of foundations have we got. And as John Stott, in his great commentary that I commended at the beginning of this series, reminds us, the truth on which Jesus is insisting in these final 2 paragraphs of the sermon is that neither an intellectual knowledge of him nor a verbal profession, though both are essential in themselves, can ever be a substitute for obedience. Well, what does it do? We come to the end of this sermon. Well, I think it leaves us with a choice. We've had the choice of 2 ways. Now we have the choice of 2 foundations. Are you going to be somebody who depends maybe on things just going okay, on things being all right, maybe living by luck, hoping that everything's going to be okay? Or are you a person that decides to have something firm there at the bottom? Well, you've got that choice to make. One could be easier. It might be easy to skip past the foundation stage and move on to the building. And it may look impressive. It may market well at first, but the reality is it won't last time. And the other option is that it calls us to ensure that we have a firm foundation in our lives. Now we're moving away from merely building materials into the things that are important for us: our faith, our conviction, our values. These are important in organizations as well as in families, and they're also important in individual lives, to make sure that deep down in our lives there are those things that are going to be all important, because you can be certain that storms will come along, that storms will hit our lives. And when they do hit our lives, you can be certain that it's then that the foundations will be important. It's no good saying when those storms come, well, I better get some foundations in, because the foundations are already there. And if they're already there for you, you could be absolutely certain that your house will stand. But if you're one of those people that haven't any foundations whatsoever, I'm sorry to tell you, Jesus' words are also true. Great will be the crash that comes along. And we don't want to be people like that. So at Wesley Mission, we encourage people to have firm foundations in their lives, values you can hold on to, prayerful convictions that will hold you strong, and foundations of faith, a cornerstone in Jesus Christ, and foundations that will help you build day by day what you need if you're going to live this Christian life. Be ensured that in your life you've got a really strong, firm foundation, and there won't be a storm that comes along that will ever take your life, because you'll be held fast and firm.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235. Or you can send an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also connect to Keith's blog and stay up to date on all of the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
Catch up on Wesley Mission on the website then. It's all important. And if we can be of any help to you in any way, please contact us. Join us next week for another episode of Wesley Impact, where we'll speak to Richard Groman. Thank you, and God bless you once again.
Wesley Mission has more than 3,000 volunteers who help us provide our care and services. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.